بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today is the day in which Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his companions exhibited greatest values that any human being can ever achieve. And on the other hand, the enemies exhibited the greatest vices that any human being can suffer from. If you want to give a list of the virtues, it will be a very long list. What can be mentioned as those virtues that stand at the top of the list? For sure, one can say their love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which was more than obedience. Sometimes you obey because you don't want to get, for example, punished or blamed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes you love. It's not a matter of just obedience. When you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you look for opportunities to serve Him, even if He says it's not compulsory. You say, I want to do it. Even for you, mustahabbat, the recommended acts, become necessary. Because you know that this is what your beloved wants. If you live with someone who is very special person that you love him, you just are waiting for something to do for him. As soon as, for example, you feel that he may be thirsty, you go and bring a very nice drink for him. If you feel that he is in need of rest, quickly you bring some blanket and pillow so that that person can have rest. It's not a matter of obedience. Obedience is much lower than love. Love is that you go out of your way to please your beloved. And this was the condition of the companions of Imam, not only Imam. Therefore, when Imam Hussein alayhi salam in the night of Ashura said that you are not under pressure because you have paid bay'ah to me, I have removed that. Go and also to encourage them, said take some of the family members, some children, ladies with you, so that they know that Imam is not just doing, as we say, ta'aruf. But because they loved Hussein, they didn't think, okay, now it's not wajib, we are not going to be punished, so let's go. They said, no. How can we leave you here alone? If we are killed and revived, again we do the same. If we are killed for the second time and revived, then we do the same. Because love is something that makes us unable to be far from you. This is the minimum we can do for you. What is the value of life compared to love for Hussein? So this love is something very special. Honor and dignity, as we said, is something very special. You see that how much honor and dignity appears from every word of Hussein, from every action of Hussein. He says in his well-known sentence, ألا وإن الدعي ابن الدعي قد ركزني بين الذلة بين الاثنين بين السلة والزلة. This Ibn Ziyad has given me two options: either to give in and surrender myself and lose my honor and dignity, or to take my sword. There are only two options. قد ركزني بين اثنتين, between two. بين السلة means to take out my sword, and زلة. هيهات من الذلة. When it's a matter of losing my honor, I don't think about it. Shall I do it? Shall not I do it? When it comes to the issue of honor, you don't need to think about it. When Hussein says hayhat min al-dhilla, it means that there is no way that zilla can touch me. Unfortunately, sometimes, when are faced with something which is wrong, maybe a sin or immoral action, we keep thinking, shall I do it? Shall not I do it? And sometimes we try to find some loopholes, some ways, to do it. A mu'min, when he's faced with something which is wrong and immoral, doesn't need to think about it. Don't let shaitan waste your time or, na'udhu billah, finally deceive you. Especially when it comes to the matter of honor and dignity. Hayhat min nadhillah. There is no way. يَعْبَ اللَّهُ ذَلِكَ لَنَا وَرَسُولُهُ وَحُجُورٌ طَابَتْ وَتَحْرَتْ. Another virtue which I want to speak about it today, which I think is very important, and you can say perhaps that is the main virtue and everything else comes from it, is sabr, is patience. Without patience, you cannot achieve anything, and if by chance you achieve, you cannot maintain. If you don't have patience, you will not be able to achieve your virtues like love, like knowledge, like honor, bravery. You cannot achieve. And even if you achieve, if you don't have sabr, you will lose it quickly. Therefore, in our hadith, we find that as-sabru min al-iman bimanzilati al-ra's min al-jasad. Sabr for iman. If you imagine that iman is like a body with different organs, and every part of body is important. Even, there were parts that in the past they thought they are not needed. But today they realize even those parts are important and needed. There is nothing, unnecessary. But nothing is like head. Patience for iman is like head. بِمَنْزِلَةِ الرَّأْسِ مِنَ الْجَسَدِ. We cannot survive as a mu'min without patience. Of course, patience has three branches. One is as-sabru ala ta'ah, to be patient with respect to performance of wajibat. To say your prayer always with the conditions and requirements on time needs patience. At least at the beginning. Later, when you love salat, then you need patience not to say salat. Those, for example, ladies, when they cannot say their prayer, they miss salat because they are mu'minah and they love salat. But to begin with, salat is like a burden, na'uzu billah. So you have to be patient. Especially, for example, when it's cold and you are in a warm bed, to leave your bed and go and make wuzu, and if the also room is cold, so it needs patience. To observe hijab needs patience. Sometimes people may respect, sometimes people may not respect, sometimes people may try to annoy you, to make fun of you, but you are patient and you observe your hijab. You pay your khums, you pay your zakat, it's very difficult. Sometimes it's more difficult than giving life. People are ready to give life and time, but not money. So you are patient and give your money for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, as-sabru ala ta'ah. You love your family, children, but you have to go for Hajj. You leave them behind. This needs patience. As-sabru ala ta'ah. Second, as-sabru anil ma'siyah. To be patient by refraining from haram. Not only doing wajibat. Sometimes we do wajibat and haram together. This doesn't work. It's like, you collect lots of food and put poison on it. So it will ruin everything. One reason that we don't feel progress in months of Ramadan, Muharram, when we go for Hajj, we don't feel that we have changed, is because we do some good actions, but next to that we do also some bad actions. And they make those good actions useless. Rumi has a beautiful story. He said there were some farmers and they used to harvest their wheat, for example, and barley, and put in a storage room. So every day from morning till sunset they collect everything, put there. The next day it's empty. They put again inside, then the next is empty. But the logs were not broken. No one but breaking in. So one night they said we should sleep inside and see what happens overnight. This is very strange. No one comes from outside, but nothing is left. So they said we should be inside, awake during night, be watching what happens. So in the middle of night, when there was no noise, it was very quiet, they saw there are some big rats come from under, take all those wheat and disappearing. Those rats are our bad habits, our bad actions. We do good things, those rats take them away. And therefore he says, if there are no rats in our heart, where is the light of salat? For 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, a person has been saying salat, fasting, hajj, everything. Why there is no light in the heart? Because there are some rats, you have not been careful. You think problem comes from outside. No, most of the problem comes from inside. أعدى عدوك نفسك التي بين جنبيك. The hadith says, your greatest enemy is your own self, which is not trained and purified. This is nafsa ammara. The nafs is commanded to do bad things. This is your greatest enemy. Don't blame outsiders. Don't blame, other people. First sort out your own problem. So, we need to be careful. And night is very important. If those people slept inside or kept part of the night awake inside the storage, it means that you also keep awake during the night and reflect on your problems. This is symbolic. During the day, you cannot find all the problems. During the night, when no one disturbs you, when everything is quiet, it's you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can find many things. The great Allama Tabatabai, when he went to Najaf, he was very young. Ayatollah Ghazi Tabatabai, who was very spiritual man, was also related to them, both from Tabriz. So he says that in the beginning, when I went to Najaf, one day he put his hand on my shoulder and said, if you want dunya, do salatul layl. If you want akhirah, do salatul layl. May Allah inshallah give us today, among everything that He gives, the tawfiq to do inshallah salatul layl. Inshallah. So this needs patience. Patience for performing wajibat, patience for not doing haram and damaging the good actions that we do. But something more difficult than any of these two, as-sabru ala al-musibah. To be patient when some calamities happen to you, some tragedies happen to you. Which one is more difficult, to fast or to lose your brother? Which one is more difficult, not to do haram or to lose your child? Of course, it's much more difficult to lose your brother or child. It's not comparable. A mu'min who is able to be patient with respect to performance of his duties and refraining from haram, and is patient with respect to all the suffering, how much Allah rewards him? 10 times more, 100 times more, 1,000 times more, 1 million times more. Khayrun min alf shahr, for example, no. For example, it doesn't say, you have been patient for one night, so I give you reward for 1,000 months. No. This is too little. Although they are great, and we are very thankful to Allah for this, but when it comes to patience, Allah says, my generosity has no end. Look at this beautiful ayah from the Quran. Surah Zumar number 10. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قل يا عباد الذين آمنوا اتقوا ربكم. Tell, O servant of mine that have faith, be pious. Don't say, I am mu'min, it's enough. Iman without taqwa is not enough. Iman is the first step, and the second is taqwa. You have to take the second step. You are like a person who wants to cross, for example, imagine if there is, for example, a channel here, a canal, you want to cross. If you only take one step, you remain between two sides of the canal. You have to put one step and then the second step so that you are crossing this canal. Just iman and not taqwa is like someone who is stuck over canal, not going, not coming. Ya ayyuhalladhina, ya ibadalladhina amanu ittaqu rabbakum. You should have taqwa. للذين أحسنوا في هذه الدنيا حسنة. Those who do good things, they will benefit even in dunya. Allah will reward them. وَأَرْضُ اللَّهِ وَاسِعَةٌ. The land of Allah is also great. If you cannot exercise your faith in one city, go to another city. If it is in one city there is no Muslim community or no school, no alim, no mosque, go to another school, another town, for example. If in one country they don't let you exercise your faith, go to another country so that you can maintain your faith. إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Then Allah says, those who are patient, Allah rewards them without measure. This is the only case that I have found in the Quran that Allah says He rewards without measure. Of course, there are also mukhlasin, which are very selected number of people. They will not even be judged. That is something very high. But if you are sabir, Allah rewards you without measure. Allah gives you blank check. What do you need? Just take. This is the great value of sabr. I am sure all of you have some problems in your life. I so far haven't seen anyone who has no problem in his life. But normally we don't know. Everyone knows about his or her own problems. You think that others are okay. When you get close to people, you see everyone is suffering. I don't think there is any mu'min who has no problems in his life. Either there is illness, or there is poverty, or there is no security, or children have problem with parents, or husband and wife, or in-laws have problem with each other, neighbors, work problem. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone who says I have no problem. So, problems are there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Adam, ala nabiyana wa alihi wa salam, and Hawa, when you go to heaven, be careful so that shaitan do not send you out. La yukhrajannakuma min al-jannah. Be careful. Don't follow shaitan, because shaitan wants to send you out. What happens if you go out? Many things happen. One of them is this: La yukhrajannakuma min al-jannah fatashqa. Then your suffering starts. This dunya is not Jannah. We have to suffer to get ready for Jannah. If someone expects to have no problem in life, he has made mistake. This is not the world which can be without problem. May inshallah our problem not be in our iman. This is the main thing. Either you have to have musibah in dunya or musibah in din. Some people, they have lost their iman. Maybe they have money, they have health, everything, but they don't have iman. This is the greatest musibah. Therefore, one of the things that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allahumma la taj'al musibatana fi dinina. Please don't make us suffer and lose in our iman. If I am ready to have poverty or illness, but I don't want to lose my iman. La taj'al musibatana fi dinina. So everyone has a problem in dunya. This dunya is not a world in which you can enjoy yourself and you can have pure pleasure. Every pleasure of dunya is mixed with some pain. If you want to enjoy your food, you have to spend time on buying ingredients, cooking, and then later washing everything. Even if you go outside to restaurant, still you have to make money. And then later, to digest the food, then you have to go to washroom. Some people get ill. So even enjoying the food is not free from some pain, from some difficulties. And everything is like this. Marriage, having children. Some people want to have children and just enjoy looking at them. It's impossible. Sometimes they make trouble for you. You get married, marriage cannot be always like a honeymoon. Sometimes there is a honeymoon, sometimes there can be other moons. But you have to be ready for that. Dunya cannot be free from pain and suffering. A mu'min is patient, is sabr. When he is sabr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I leave for you this option that you can use all this suffering as credit for your akhirah. You had fever, Allah rewards you. You have cancer, Allah rewards you. You didn't decide to be suffering from cancer for the sake of Allah. You say, oh Allah, I decided to have cancer because of you, please reward me. No. But still Allah says, no matter what was the reason for your cancer, I reward you. There is a beautiful hadith, and there are many hadiths like this, which says that if a mu'min loses one of his children, it's very sad, if your child dies. The hadith says, Waladun wahid. This is from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. يقدمه الرجل أفضل من 70 يخلفهم من بعده كلهم قد ركبوا الخيل وقاتلوا في سبيل الله. If one child of you in an accident dies, or because of illness dies, you haven't done anything, but just you remain sabr and patient. Imam says, it's better than leaving behind you 70 children who all will be killed for the sake of Allah. So you see how much the pain of a father or mother who loses his son or daughter is appreciated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The late Hurra Amili, one of our ulama who has many books like Wasa'il al-Shia, his child died. So for his own sake and so that other people in similar condition can benefit, he wrote a book, Musakkinul Fu'ad Inda Faqd al-Ahibbati wal Awlad, which is translated to English as Comforter of the Heart. It's available also online. He says, according to many hadiths, we understand إن المؤمن لو يعلم ما أعد الله له من البلاء. If mu'min knows how much Allah has prepared for him and saved for him because of his suffering, لتمنى أنه في دار الدنيا غرز بالمقاريض. He wishes that in dunya he was made into pieces by scissor. So on the day of judgment, everyone loves to be able to go back and suffer more in dunya. Because he knows that Allah so much gives to the people who have been patient that he could have achieved more, he had suffered more. So don't regret over your problems. Oh Allah, why you have forgotten me? Why you don't help me? No, Allah has not forgotten you. Allah knows what is happening to you. If these are not troubles that you have created, sometimes we create problems, that's another issue. But if this is not in your hand, this is great opportunity for you. You will be very rich on the day of judgment. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam suffered more than any other prophet. ما أوذي نبي مثل ما أوذيت. No prophet was annoyed like me. Didn't Allah love him? Why he became orphan? He didn't see his father. Shortly he lost his mother. Then he lost his grandfather. Then he lost his uncle. Then he lost his lady Khadija. All the tortures, seeing his companions being tortured, their money be confiscated, all those battles. Why he suffered so much? Because Allah, na'uzu billah, didn't love him? Allah abandoned him? No. Because Allah loved him very much. And he was supposed to reach a position that the only way to reach that position was to suffer too much. There is a beautiful hadith which is very much supporting what I am saying. This is from the Prophet himself. إِنَّ الْعَبْدِ إِذَا سَبَقَتْ لَهُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَنْزِلَةٌ وَلَمْ يَبْلُغْهَا بِعَمَلٍ. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his plan decides that you must reach a certain rank. But you cannot reach it by your amal. Either because you don't do good action, enough actions, or because amal has some limitation. How much you can do in dunya? Even if you do day and night for 100 years, how much you can do? Ibtalahullah. When Allah wants to make sure that this person would reach that level which is available for him, Allah tries him and tests him in his body. He becomes ill, he becomes blind, he becomes deaf. أو في ماله أو في ولده. He loses his money or children. ثم صبر على ذلك. Then he or she remains patient حتى يبلغه المنزلة التي سبقت إليه. He remains patient, and it is with this patience that he can achieve that. I don't have time to expand on this. Now, let's look at Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam himself in Mina, when he wanted to leave Mina, and people were going to Mecca for Hajj, Imam didn't want to remain in Mecca and be killed there because he wanted to preserve the sanctity of Mecca. So he made his Hajj into Umrah Mufradeh and finished Umrah Mufradeh and left. Before leaving, he delivered a speech. And that speech is very special. And Imam very clearly says that he's going to be killed. And he says, "Man kana badilan fina muhjatah wa muvattinan ala liqa'illahi nafsah falyarhal ma'ana." And he says that whoever is ready to give the last drops of his heart for us and has made himself prepared for meeting Allah, فَلْيَرْحَلْ مَعْنَا, should come with us. So he knows what is going to happen. أَنِّي رَاحِلٌ مُصْبَحًا inshallah. Tomorrow morning I am going to move. In that khutbah, Imam says, نَصْبِرُ عَلَى بَلَائِهِ. We want to be patient for the calamities, with respect to calamities that are going to happen. Why? So that Allah gives us the reward of those who are patient. يُوَفِّينَا أُجُورَ الصَّابِرِينَ. So if you look at Imam Hussein's movement and you want to summarize everything, so Hussein is telling you very clearly that I wanted to be patient so that I can be given the reward of those who are patient, and that is a reward which has no measure. يُوَفِّينَا أُجُورَ الصَّابِرِينَ. He uses actually a verb from the same verb root which is used in the Quran. Allah says يُوَفَّ الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. He says يُوَفِّينَا أُجُورَ الصَّابِرِينَ. يُوَفِّينَا and يُوَفَّى come from the same root. So Imam, through his patience, achieved a position that is not limited. Whatever he wants, Allah will give him. Whether he wants it for himself, or he wants it for his family, or for his lovers, Allah will give him. There is a beautiful story about Allamiyya Bahrul Ulum. You know, we have a great alim called Bahrul Ulum about several centuries ago, and he was very, very pious, and all ulama trust him and respect him. He was very a special man, and it's very common, idea that he met Imam al-Zaman on many occasions. Allamiyya Bahrul Ulum, several centuries ago. In some of the books it's written that one day Allamiyya Bahrul Ulum was alone going somewhere. He was in Najaf, maybe going to Kufa or Karbala, I don't remember the details. He was alone and thinking, why Allah rewards the Za'ir, the visitor of Hussein, so much? That sometimes it looks, unbelievable. That, for example, for every step, Allah rewards him so much. So many Hajj and, Umrah and these kind of things for the person who goes there. And I have hadith here, and I recited for you some of them about, for example, all your sins being forgiven if you do ziyarah, arif and bihaqi, all these things. So he was thinking, although Allah is very generous, but how can we explain it in human terms so that it makes sense for us? Of course, we cannot always understand Allah's ways of doing things, but to find some explanation. So when I was thinking about it, a person came and said, what are you thinking about? He said, I have such a question in my mind, I'm thinking about this. He said, let me help you. I mentioned one story for you. Once a king with all his viziers and guard go outside for hunting or for something. They go to a desert or jungle or whatever. For some reason, the king is lost. For example, he went for, to have some rest or, washroom, for example. Then he was lost. He couldn't find anyone and they couldn't find him. It's getting dark. He's hungry. He doesn't have any place. He's in a jungle. It's very also dangerous. When he is going around, he finds there is a tent. An old lady with a boy, the son, they are living there, very poor. And they have only one goat. This is the only thing that they have. They use the milk of the goat for their sustenance. When the king goes there, these people, without knowing that he is king, or without respecting anything from king, they slaughter their goat because they have a guest, and make a good food for the king, and then give their own little mattress, whatever they had, so that he sleeps. So then the king, the next day, is found by his people, and he goes back to his palace and asks for a meeting. So I am explaining in my own words. So he says, how should I reward these people? Some people say a goat, for example, worth this much. You give them 100 golden coins, much more than that. He says, no, this is too little. Someone says, give him 100 golden coins and 100 sheep or goats. He said, no, it's too little. Why? He says, these people gave me whatever they had. If I give them whatever I have, it still would not be enough. Do you know why? Because I am in debt to them. I am reciprocating, but they were not in debt to me. They gave everything voluntarily to me. If I give my whole kingdom to them, still it would not be enough. So that helped Allamiyya Bahrulum to realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is treating Hussein in such a way because Hussein gave everything that he had to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, everything that is for me, I want to give. And Allah is not going to become bankrupt or lose his position. For him, giving everything that millions of people want from him doesn't cost him even a penny. If imagine you have many accounts and all are for you to put from to this account or that account, doesn't make you poor. Whatever we have belongs to Allah. Inna lillah. So if he gives us everything, he's not going to lose anything. It's just changing the position. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to Hussein, and for the sake of Hussein, everything which is available for him, and there is no limit in his richness. So you shouldn't be surprised. This is indeed an excuse for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give. Allah is always looking for excuses to give, because He's very generous, but He doesn't want people to be lazy. He said, do something so that I give you something. And I give you more than any time else when you suffer. And today is the time that Imam Hussein alayhi salam suffered, Ahlul Bayt suffered, and also we suffer. This is very important. Imam Hussein's musibah is our musibah. Therefore, in Ziyarat Ashura, you say, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an yu'tiyani bimusabi bikum afdala ma yu'ti musaban bimusibati. I am musab, means this is my musibah. We are not here just to say condolences. Some people think we are here to give condolences. No, it's more than that. We are here because this is our musibah. It's not like your father, for example, has a friend who has passed away and you go and say, please accept our condolences. No, your own father has died. So this is your own musibah. And therefore also you say, أَعْظَمَ اللَّهُ أُجُورَنَا بِمُصَابِنَا بِالْحُسَيْنِ. We have lost Hussein, so we are suffering. So Today, by having this great musibah, Hussein has reached a position that he could not achieve without this. And the true lovers and mourners for Hussein can join Hussein by having this patience. A patience which resembles the patience of Hussein. It's not very easy. A patience with wajibat, with not doing haram, with all the sufferings. And on top of all sufferings, the suffering of Hussein. So may Allah inshallah include us among sabirun. May Allah inshallah give us reward for the musibah of Hussein in the best way that he rewards any lover and mourner of